Errol Spence calls out Terence Bud Crawford trying to call off the rematch. I'm going to let y'all know what Spence had to say to Bud Crawford, and I'm going to let y'all know what Bud Crawford had to say to make everybody think that the rematch is not going down. Errol Spence said, nah, we gonna get that smoke, baby. Let's talk about that in this video. But before we do that, make sure y'all hit my like button and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subbed to the channel. Errol Spence and Bud Crawford, the saga continues. Ever since earlier this week when EJ broke his silence and let everybody know, I'm back. And he also let everybody know the injuries that he was dealing with going into the Bud Crawford fight. A lot of speculation throughout these past 6 months with injuries that he had, but nothing was ever confirmed. You even had his coach, Derrick James. He wouldn't make no excuses. He wouldn't confirm anything because Errol Spence, obviously, he didn't want nobody to say nothing until he came out himself and let everybody know what was going on, because most people felt like EJ wasn't himself in that fight. It had to be something going on. And yeah, it was some things going on. Not only did he reveal that he had to get cataract surgery, that he had been holding it off, right? He also had a bad rib injury, right, that he suffered in training camp that prevented him from doing any sparring 6 weeks before the fight. And he let everybody know, look, if I would have pulled out of the fight, all of y'all would have been on my helmet and y'all would have said I was scared. So I went through with the fight. And like I said myself, I also think he went through it because he didn't want to miss out on that bag. We know the whole saga that was going on with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. The fight was on, then it was off, then it was on again, then it was off, and then it was finally back on. And at that point in time, man, a lot of fans was fed up. You know, a lot of fans was done with the whole Errol Spence Terence Crawford saga. And I think that's why the pay-per-view only did a 650,000 pay-per-view buys when it definitely should have did over 1 million buys. People was calling for this fight. They was begging for this fight. They was so excited about the fight when it was first announced. Was getting plane tickets months and months ahead of time, hotel rooms. And then you tell the people that, nah, it's off because Terence Bud Crawford decides that he gonna go fight David I've been sneezing on BLK Prime. So yeah, man, that turned a lot of people off from the fight. But it finally went down. We know what happened. In a dominant performance, Terence Bud Crawford went out there and showed out. In Errol Spence, he looked like a shell of himself. But like I said, now he's come out, he spoke out, told everybody what was going on with him. And Bud Crawford, he ain't liking that. He ain't trying to hear none of that because he feels that people not giving him his credit. People not ever going to give him his just due. So after Spence came out and broke his silence, Bud Crawford has had a whole lot to say. You know what I'm talking about? And I've talked about what Bud Crawford had to say in previous videos. But Bud Crawford came out recently and he pretty much made everybody think that the Errol Spence fight is off. It ain't gonna be no fight. And this is what Bud had to say. Bud said, I didn't heard it all now, Errol Spence. It's okay, because all in all, I'm glad it's over and done with. I wish you well, my brother. So when people seen this, and when I seen it, I'm like, man, don't tell me Bud doing this again, right? Bud now is not going to give EJ the rematch that he seems that he wants. But I also put out a video a while back, and I spoke to someone that's very, very close to Terence Bud Crawford. That's a part of his camp. And they told me behind the scenes that Errol Spence is pretty much at that point in time, right? And this was a few months ago. And they told me that Errol Spence was pretty much acting like he ain't want no rematch. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he had went silent. They hadn't heard nothing from him. So the rematch was up in the air. And I reported that, right? Now when Bud Crawford put out this tweet, I'm like, man, so Errol Spence must not want his get back. You know what I'm talking about? Because he talking about farewell, it was cool while it lasted, and he glad that it's over with. So it just seemed like that Bud Crawford was moving on, whether he was retiring or tried to get that Canelo Alvarez fight, because he didn't made it clear there ain't nobody else that he want to fight besides Canelo Alvarez. So I was like, man, what's up with EJ? He told us that he wasn't retiring. He told us that he want his get back. But now all of a sudden, he ain't said nothing about no get back. He just came out, let us know that he had some injuries, and that was that. Until today. Yeah. EJ didn't respond. Yeah. Y'all wanted that energy out of EJ? Well, he giving y'all that energy. And this is what Errol Spence had to say to Bud Crawford in return. EJ said, at Terence Crawford, get out your feelings, let's run it back. Big Fish is back with the shark emojis. He letting him know, stop worrying about what everybody's saying on social media, get out your feelings and give me my get back. Don't take your ball and run home because you won the first game. Yeah, you won the first game. Yeah, you dominated. But I want my get back. We signed a rematch, so give me what we signed for. You know what I'm talking about? I gave you everything that you wanted in the first fight. I was the big fish. I was the big dog. I was the A side. You wasn't the A side, but I gave you your respect. I gave you everything you asked for. I even let you do a coin flip to see which one was coming out to the ring first and who was coming out last. And I had 3 belts to your 1 belt. I'm the one that went and grabbed all these belts individually and beat all these champions. While you waited for me to get all of the heavy lifting done, and I still gave you 50-50. I could have walked out to the ring last, but I still gave you that. Yeah, I gave you everything you wanted. All that petty shit you was asking for, I gave it to you, bud. So give me my respect and give me my rematch. See, Terence Bud Crawford, he pissed off because now everybody is on his helmet saying this is another fight that was injured, that wasn't 100% of himself, that you beat. And now you bragging and you running around acting like that you've done so much and you beat all the top guys when you haven't. And I'm just saying how people feel, right? From the comments that people are making under Terence Crawford's post, right? And so Bud, he getting angry, and now he taking his anger out on Errol Spence by saying, nah, you ain't getting no rematch. It was cool while it lasted, but you know, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to retire. You don't get a rematch. Now, as far as what Terence Crawford has to do, his obligations, by now, right, I don't think that he's obligated to give Errol Spence a rematch with everything that went on with Showtime. Now, PBC is going to be on Amazon Prime. So I believe that rematch is null and void. You know, he don't have to go through with that now. But see, the thing is, it's either you're going to go through with the rematch with Errol Spence, or you just going to have to go and retire, because everybody that Terence Crawford wants to fight basically is under the PBC banner. You know what I'm talking about? Canelo Alvarez, because he said he don't want to fight Jaron Ennis. He said he not going to fight Jaron Ennis. He said he don't want to fight Jermell Charlo no more, right? And we don't know what's going on with Jermell Charlo. He ain't said nothing since he lost to Canelo Alvarez. We don't even know if he want to fight no more. So if it's Canelo Alvarez is a PBC fighter. If it's somebody like Tim Tszyu is a PBC fighter. You know what I'm talking about? So all of these fighters that you could potentially fight, they all over on PBC. And we know that PBC, right? We know that Al Heyman have a close relationship with Errol Spence. So if you're not going to give Errol Spence what he deserved via the contract that y'all had signed in the past, you think that Al Heyman is going to go through and give you a Canelo Alvarez fight or any of these other fighters that's on their roster? Nah. So like I said, it's either going to be Errol Spence pretty much, or you might decide to retire. Now, all of this could be just for the build-up. You know what I'm saying? We know that Terence Crawford, he ain't no dummy. He know how to make a great build up to a fight now. He's learned that, right? And he's learned that even better dealing with the whole him and Errol Spence situation. So all of this could just be publicity to build up the fight, because at this point in time, most people that said they didn't want to see the rematch, yeah, now they want to see the rematch. I wasn't really even caring about the rematch, but now I want to see the rematch. You know what I'm talking about? Errol Spence, go in there and prove that the reason that you lost the way you did is because of the injuries that you suffered leading up to the fight. And Terence Bud Crawford, prove that you could beat 100% healthy Errol Spence. Yeah, I want to see it now. And so, man, Errol Spence, he finally came back and responded and let the whole world know, let Terence Bud Crawford know, get out your feelings and let's run it back. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about this. Drop a comment in the comment section. Make sure y'all hit my like button. And y'all already know how I do. There you go, talking that boxing again, and I'm gone.
Every time you look up, I'm riding.